Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to The Selfish Truth. I'm Niels Hansen, and I'm going to be talking about, oddly enough, video games. I don't even think I've covered any video game stories on this channel. But the reason why I want to cover it is it's not your typical story, and it's more along the lines of conspiracy theory, something that I've sort of, I don't know, maybe I'm just being crazy, maybe I'm concocting the wildest possible story in the world that no one has confirmed, because I haven't read this anywhere, but there's this article, and I'll link to it in the description below so you can read it yourself, but it doesn't touch what I'm about to talk about. And this is more, I guess, business or human interaction, which is why I want to cover this video game story in the first place. So the article goes into explaining why the PlayStation 4 will be the new platform of choice for the Call of Duty series. You know that there's going to be a shift from Activision to utilize and say, you know what, the PS4, that's the home of Call of Duty. They're going to get everything new. They're going to be the MLG platform, and etc., and it goes on and on. And it talks about how digital sales on the PS4 are outperforming the Xbox One. And I don't know if that's contributable rather to because there's more sales and there's more PS4s that have actually been purchased, or they're talking about percentage-wise. You know, here's the number of PS4s, here's the percentage of those numbers, because I mean that would be a little bit more relevant. But again, not the point that I'm getting at here. So they're saying that because the PlayStation 4 is becoming a more dominant piece of hardware platform, that this is where, and they're selling more. Here's the other thing. So the article focuses, I know I'm all over the place. Surprise, everyone. So they're selling more Call of Duty Ghosts on the actual PS4 versus the Xbox One. So obviously, going into the future, any company, and this is normal, would actually look at that and go, oh, okay, you know what, there's way more people interested on this, maybe we should consider it. So it's plausible that Activision could be looking at that because of sales numbers, because of DLC content. You know, obviously the DLC for Ghosts, that's a big thing. It's every year it's a big thing, and it's, people get all wild and crazy over it. Logo, it's a rip-off, don't get it, I bought it too, but because I have no choice, my friends have it, I have to buy it myself. Yeah, I know, we get it, blah, 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 complain, buy. Happens all the time. So, that's what the article talks about, and shockingly enough, the most predictable thing happens is the fanboys erupt in it. And it's so boring. Whenever I read it, I just think, I look at the fanboy actions like, oh yeah, Xbox rules and this is this, why this is better, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, brain dead, brain dead, brain dead, blah, brain dead, brain dead. And then, of course, you've got the Battlefield fans that are reading a Call of Duty article, clearly labeled Call of Duty, and going, Call of Duty sucks and Battlefield rules. Thanks for contributing, you're a douche. Oh my god, I can't stand. I had to put that in there. I cannot stand fanboyism. I think they're like the drones, the brain dead of this community. If you act like that, you're an embarrassment. You're a smudge. You're a shit stain in my underwear. You know what I mean? I want to get rid of you. Get out. Not that I have shit stains in my underwear, but I'm just saying, if there were, you'd be that. I'd be like, hey, there you are, no fanboy. A piece of kernel in there. But here's my conspiracy. Now we're going to get to it. I got the long-winded way, 3 minutes into this. So here's what I'm thinking. There may be some validity to the idea that Activision may be choosing the PS4 as the preferred console, but not necessarily for the reasons that were, brought to light in the article. Not because of the DLC, not because, the PlayStation 4 is outperforming them. And remember that they currently they've kind of renewed that contract with Microsoft for the Xbox 360, Xbox One, and obviously PC, or I think actually not even the PC, they get ramrodded. The Xbox 360 and Xbox One to have DLC content early for Call of Duty. And it's been like that for a number of years. We know that. I don't know how long that term was. We don't know. You don't have the contract. I'm assuming it's got to be for 1 or 2 years. Probably 2 years. You wouldn't sign something for just 1 year. Like, okay, for this year, we'll give you this. Probably at least 2 years. So, the one that came out in Call of Duty Ghosts, we know that one is like that. And then, the next Call of Duty for 2014 by, I think, is it Sledgehammer Games? I don't know, whatever. Whatever that one is, that one will be under there. And possibly even the next year. But here's why I think that this whole merger with PlayStation 4 is quite plausible. And I didn't see it anywhere, like no one talking about it, which was odd to me. And maybe it was, but I don't really give a shit. This is one, after I read it, immediately bells and whistles went off. Maybe it's plausible that Activision actually wants to side with PlayStation 4, because let's look at what recently happened with Xbox. What did Xbox do? They've been working hard. They've been promoting. It's been all over the place, and the game is explosive. And I'm playing it right now. It's Titanfall. Microsoft teams up not only with a game being published by their key rival EA. Those two are head-to-head publishers. They are the ones battling it out with each other. Activision versus EA. We know that battle exists. Okay? So not only does Microsoft, side with them and promote a game that's within that organization, that publisher, direct competition at their level, but also decides to promote heavily and push a game created by two key figures that were the lead creators of their most successful franchise in the entire history of Activision. Well, maybe I'm exaggerating. In the entire world! It controlled, but you know what I mean? One of the most successful. That's more accurate. One of the most successful franchises in Activision's history, the Call of Duty franchise. Jason West and Vince Zampella, when they were there in Infinity Ward. The creators of Call of Duty. During Modern Warfare 2 when they left. Big lawsuit. Cost them millions of dollars. It was like the worst, kick in the ass for both of them, really. But Activision got smudged for it. They got hammered in the public for it. Everyone was siding with them and saying, well, we don't know the details. And maybe they were right, maybe they were wrong. I don't know. Because there's a lot of business going on there. And we always side with the little guy. That's just the way it is. You side with the little guy versus the big guy who's evil, but maybe actually in the right business-wise. I'm not saying I defend them. I'm just saying there's always a flip side that we don't see, but we get carried away with the little guy. He has to be in the wrong. Please save them. Jason West and Vince Zampella. Meanwhile, they're making millions. Those guys are not struggling. So they form Respawn Entertainment with EA. So this is a company. Not only is Activision butting heads with EA, but Microsoft partners with both EA and the company that's successful, that was responsible for such a huge tarnish on them. That's two. And Microsoft, maybe Activision stood back and went, whoa, maybe they're, why are we partnering with someone like this? They clearly don't give a shit about our bottom line. They don't give a shit really about a successful and an actual, a lucrative partnership between us. They're just looking for the next big thing. And it looks like they've latched onto it. They're not really here to grow with us. They're just saying, hey, let's get a hold of this. We want to control this and get a piece of this. And maybe, they're okay with that for a while. But when this happens, when we see these people that are making these, alliances, and all of a sudden they're like your worst enemy. This is exactly what it is. So you're looking at someone and they're like, oh, okay, well, we'll partner up and we'll do work on this project together. And they're like, oh, okay, by the way, I'm going to work on this project over here with your absolute worst enemy. These people that almost destroyed you financially and publicly, for opinion. We're going to work on them and make a product that potentially is going to be way better than anything that you're working on here. And we're going to really promote it. How do you think Activision would feel as a person if these were individuals and this was you and someone was helping you and they went and they helped your enemy? Someone who was like just horrendous, almost destroyed your family. I'm pretty sure you'd be pissed. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't feel too good about that. So this is what I'm thinking. As soon as I read that article, and no one's talking about this, I'm like, that's got to be a part of it. I don't care if they're not saying it out loud and there's no one mentioning it. When that happens, there's got to be some animosity between Activision and Microsoft with Microsoft's big move. I don't care if it's business or not. There are people run this. These aren't just, they're corporations, but these are people with egos. Eric Hirschberg or whatever it is, may see this and go, this is it Eric Hirschberg? I think it's Eric Hirschberg. I don't know, whatever. You know what I mean. I'm pretty sure that's who it is. And they're butting heads. I just, it's a conspiracy. There's nothing out there. I haven't read anything there. I'm just thinking out loud. What if that is actually the situation? Think about it. Think about that. That makes that whole Call of Duty wanting to, like, hey, PlayStation, you want to rock it out? You want to do some exclusive stuff? You want to start having that? Once that contract for that DLC, expires, I would not be surprised at all, and not for the reasons in this article, but for the reasons I just explained, why they would form an alliance with PlayStation 4. Sure, the reasons I mentioned in the article are more, are more plausible and make more sense on paper from a business perspective, and they need to be there in order to make that partnership. If PlayStation wasn't outselling Xbox One, like the PS4, it probably wouldn't have been a good idea other than go, haha, how do you like that, Microsoft? And, you know, let's face it, no company is going to do that. Activision's not going to do that. But the numbers are there. And this other thing happened in the background. I don't know, I think all of the chips are on the table, and it looks like it is a very plausible idea that the future of Call of Duty will be on the PlayStation 4. Like it or not. And remember, if you don't really care about PlayStation, you're like, well, who cares about Call of Duty in the future and everything like that? Why did you watch the video? Why do you care? Go away. Blah, blah, blah. If you're not interested, I'm talking about this from a general perspective. I don't want to listen to fanboy shit. I don't care about those opinions and everything like that. That's because this sucks. Go away. Go be stupid somewhere else. I don't have time for that. Let's have a conversation. How do you feel about that? Do you feel there's any merit to that? Do you think it's going to happen? Why or why not? Tweet me as well. That link is in the description below. Hope you guys have an awesome day. And remember, don't do it. Don't be a sheep.